Hi all, in this video lecture we are going to discuss about an supply independent biasing. Before getting into an supply independent biasing, let us try to recall some of the content what we have discussed earlierly, why we want to have a band gap reference. First is I want to have a reference independent of supply voltage. Okay, as you all know that there will be some small fluctuation in an VDD supply that need to be overcome and independent of process variation, that is at manufacturing process like an VTH or an mobility. Then it need to be independent for temperature behavior. Okay, these are the things we have been discussed earlierly. In most applications, the required temperature dependence assumes any of these three criterias. Usually they will assume that proportional to absolute temperature, or there will be a constant GM behavior, or temperature independent. These three things they are going to assume and they will proceed with the circuit. In today's lecture, let us see this independent of supply voltage. How we are going to do that one? Until now in our basic current mirror circuit or everywhere wherever we have considered, we have simply assumed that we had an golden reference current or an voltage supply. It is not going to change with respect to temperature or those kind of things. Okay, this is the simple circuit we have been considered for a current mirroring. This is the I reference. The same current will be reflected across here if the width and length of an MOSFETs are identical. Okay, if it is varying with respect to that proportional we are going to generate. Now, how do we generate this I reference exactly? Where do we get this constant current source I reference? Simple approach is we are going to add an resistor between VDD and then constant reference point. If I take this circuit, however the output whatever I am going to get this I out, it is going to have a sensitivity with respect to VDD supply variation. If I consider a small VDD change, how the small delta I out is given by delta VDD divided by R1 plus 1 over Gm into W by L2 divided by W by L1. Now here it has an independence dependent on VDD supply. How we can overcome this? That is nothing but a supply independent biasing. Let us consider a simple circuit to establish a supply independent current source. The main idea behind this is, in order to arrive at a less sensitive solution, we postulate that circuits must bias itself. That is, I reference must be somehow derived from I out. Okay, in order to have an one-to-one relations between your input current to output current, I need to make sure that I reference been having some mirroring effect on an I out. Okay, somehow my I reference need to be derived from I out. Okay, this is the simple circuit that have been considered. This I reference, this bottom part is an, as you all know, the basic current mirroring. Then in order to get this I reference, now I am trying to mirror M3 to an M4. Okay, it has been connected, the proportionality is same. Okay, dimension with an K factor this side. Here it is having with a normal W by L ratio. Okay, if I connected in this fashion, what is the relation I am going to get for an I out? By considering an channel length modulation effect to 0, if all are operating in saturation, then I can simply write I out is equal to K into I reference. Hence can support any current level. Okay, if you take any I reference level, you are going to simply get a multiplication of those things. Fine. This is mirror circuit here, this is mirror circuit here. Okay, whatever the I reference here, it has been reflecting current, that current will be reflected across I out through this M2 MOSFET. This I reference is derived from M4. This M4 is trying to mirror from this M3 MOSFET. Okay, it has an getting back from an output to an input. That means it is going to be circulating in a looping fashion. Now let us consider in circuit adding an additional RS to define the current here. Okay, if I consider in this fashion, what will be the things? Here the resistance RS decreases the current of M2. Okay, we will wonder that how this M2 is going to be, current is going to reduce due to RS. Whatever the VGS here, it is going to be replicated. The same VG voltage it is going to reflect across M2, but here it is going to have an dropout across RS. That's why this total VGS is going to be reduced. That's why it is going to reduce the current. Anyhow, our current is dependent on GM into VGS. That VGS value is going to be reduced here. Okay, how we can write? Assuming lambda equal to 0, then I out is simply equal to I reference we will write, and this VGS1 is equal to VGS2 plus ID2 into RS. Now if we try to write this VGS1 and VGS2 in terms of an ID current expression, as you all know that ID is nothing but mu n C ox into W by L into VGS minus VTH whole square. There if I take VGS, simply it is going to be coming it as an square root of 2 I out divided by mu n C ox W by N plus VTH1. Okay, this is for VGS1. Then for VGS2, square root of 2 I out whole divided by mu n C ox K into W by Ln. Okay, here it has an K factor. That's it. Then plus VTH2. This ID2 is nothing but an I out, whatever the current it has been flowing, I out into RS. Now if I neglecting body effect, the expression can be simplified to 2 into I out divided by mu n C ox W by N into 1 minus 1 over K into W by L. Okay, if W by L are same, that will also be taken outside. That's why 1 minus 1 by root K is nothing but I out into RS. Now I can, here if we try to simplify for I out, it comes out with an expression I out is equal to 2 by mu n C ox W by L over N 1 by RS square into 1 minus 1 by root K whole square. By seeing this expression, I can tell that this circuit is going to behave with an independent of supply voltage. Okay, that is what we can tell. But this mu n C ox W by L tells that it is still dependent on process and temperature. Overall, what we can summarize is the whatever the I out expression it has been derived, it is an supply independent. Anyhow, it depends on process and temperature. But here we have an body effect. We had been eliminated this body effect. This source is not connected to ground. Okay, now to eliminate this body effect, what modification we can do is, rather than adding that resistor there, we can add an resistor here. Just it is a circuit that if you add an resistor, how it is going to behave. Now let us consider an same circuit. Let us try to see that how it is going to behave with an change in an VDD supply. If we change in VDD supply, how it is going to behave. This is a diode connected device and this is a diode connected device. If we try to write an equivalent circuit here, it is going to be get replaced with an resistor R1. This is an R3. I hope everyone knows that diode connected can be simply written with a resistor. Those resistor equivalent can be written as RO1 parallel with 1 over GM1 and here RO3 parallel with 1 over GM3. Fine? Everyone are clear, I think. Now, if I try to apply an Kirchhoff current law here, okay, here for I have an current from this RO4 and I have an current flowing through this M4 transistor, MOSFET, and the current flowing through this R1 resistor. Now let us try to write first RO4. Okay, this side we have an VDD supply, here I have an Vx voltage. VDD minus Vx can be written as RO4. Okay, in order to tell the current flowing through MOSFET, I can write it in terms of an this GM4 into VGS voltage. What is the VGS voltage here? I may get VG voltage. Okay, that VG voltage is nothing but simply the current voltage it is going to be there is I out into R3 voltage. Okay, that is what we already have been taken, I out into R3 into GM4, which is equal into Vx by R1. Now, if we denote an equivalent transconductance of an M2 Rs here, GM2 can be written as I out 2 divided by Vx voltage. Then finally I can write this I out with respect to VDD is, if we try to write a small signal model and try to calculate, finally I am going to get it as 1 by R04 into 1 by GM2 R04 parallel with R1 minus GM4 into R3 whole inverse. I am going to get this expression. Here to identify this GM2, this one we have been discussed in our second module, common source amplifier with an degenerator circuit. With that concept I can simply write GM2 is equal to GM2 into R02 divided by RS plus R02 into GM2 plus GMB2 into RS into R02. Okay, here this interestingly the sensitivity vanishes if R04 is infinite. If R04 is having an infinite value, then it is going to be eliminated. With the continuation for this particular circuit, what we have discussed earlier in slides, here we have some drawback, and that issue is called as an degenerate bias point. What is that degenerate bias point? Okay, as you all know that it is independent of supply voltage. Suppose initially before turning on my device, my I out and I reference were 0, means the transistor, none of the transistor would have been turned on. That is the problem we are going to face. If I given power supply also here, there is no path for current to flow at the starting stage from an M3 to M2 or M4 to M1. That's why it remains in a zero looping configuration itself. It is not going to turn on at all. We need to overcome that problem. Okay, that overcome can be done through the additional startup device. For the same circuit, if I add an M5 diode connected device between an M3 and then gate terminals of an M1 and M2, at starting it is going to give a path between VDD to M3, M5 and then M5. Okay, this is the path. Initially it creates an current to flow. As the gate initially it was 0 here. Okay, let us consider this problem here. Suppose if I have given an VDD, at that time it would have been turned on. Okay, because gate voltage was 0, that's why it has started, but M2 was not having any current. That's why it is doesn't flowing. Here also this MOSFET was not turned on. But now due to this conduction, my gate is going to get a supply voltage. Okay, due to this supply voltage my M1 turned on and it has a path between current flowing. Due to this conduction, now M2 has been turned on and M4 has been turned on. That problem can be overcome. Okay, in order to achieve this, initially my VDD need to be less than this VTH1 supply plus VTH5 plus this VGS3. These three terms need to be less than VDD, then only it is going to be turned on. Okay, by combining all those three, if I have that sufficient VDD, then it can turn on, otherwise it is not going to turn. In the same way, that VGS1 plus VTH5 plus VGS3 should be greater than VDD. Okay, why we want to have this effect is, after the turning on of an initial stage, my M5 need to be in a turn off state. In order to achieve that one, I need to make sure that whatever here the VGS1 plus VTH5 plus mod of VGS3 should be greater than VDD. It suggests that if I have that VGS1 and then VGS3 higher value, it makes sure that M5 puts to an turn off state. Okay, that is what it is trying to tell, that the problem can be overcome. That problem earlier we had as an degenerate bias point. Whenever the circuit was an off, as soon as it turns on, it was in a zero current looping fashion. That's why the device doesn't start at all. In order to overcome, we are going to connect a diode connected device here. Let's try to recall the content what we have discussed until now. First, we have taken a constant current source circuit. If I want to replicate that one, we are going to use a current mirroring concept. Then the problem arises from where we can get that constant current source. In order to build that one, we have taken a simple approach by connecting a resistor. By connecting a resistor, we had an dependent on a supply voltage. In order to overcome that problem, what we have tried to do is we are going to get an some mirror reflection from an output to an I reference. That is nothing but an I out to I reference, that it was done through an PMOS current mirroring. If I connect it in this fashion, simply it is going to be in a looping fashion. This is going to giving an independent of supply voltages if we discard an channel length modulation effect. Then we have been discussed how it is going to be an behave if we had an additional RS resistor. There we had and get some body effect. To avoid that one, we can add that RS to the top side. Then we have been discussed some scenario with them how it is going to change with respect to VDD change, that we have been seen. Then we are going to solve and lastly start a problem here. Thank you for watching.